Hey guys, it's me, 80s144. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, guys, we talk about the World Cup matches. So let's start with the first match which we have here is Costa Rica versus Japan. Now I gotta say, man, Japan, man, I think they underestimated Costa Rica. I think they did because they made five changes from the team that won against Germany, and you could see how Costa Rica just wasn't able to get into the groove as they did against Japan and Germany. And let's be real, guys. Germany weren't all that bad. Germany were probably the way better team in the first half. Japan were way off the gear. They were way too passive, and Germany just dominated them. And even in the second half, the same is true. It's just that Germany just couldn't finish, right? And then as soon as Japan made the substitutions, they looked so much better as a team. And I think we saw that again here that Japan tried the same thing as they did against Costa Rica, and Costa Rica just weren't going to allow it. They were defensively solid. And as I said before, guys, as I'm a fellow USMNT fan, I know what Costa Rica is capable of doing. They're a very defensively sound team. They don't concede a lot of goals, and they're very difficult to break down. Even in the CONCACAF qualifiers, they don't concede more than two goals. And I know what you guys are saying. Look what Spain did to them. But at the end of the day, guys, Spain are just too good. Spain just have way too much quality for them. But I think you saw how Costa Rica they approached this game in a very defensive manner, and they played well defensively. They were solid, making blocks on the line. Keylor Navas making some great saves, and that one little opportunity they had, the one shot on target they have, it's a goal, and it's a well taken goal. It's a well taken goal from their number four guy. I believe he's a right back. Let me just go ahead and make sure I get the name right because I forgot the name. So let me go ahead and ensure that I don't mess up the name. So the guy that scored the goal is actually Fuller, Kersey Fuller. Getting that goal, and I just feels as though that was a huge win for Costa Rica because with this win for Costa Rica, they make this group now very complicated now because now they're in a position where as long as they don't lose to Germany in the final match day, um, they can honestly still advance. And if they can get a draw and nick a draw there, they can advance too. So it makes this group really interesting now, and that Costa Rica, this group is going to be a tight finish. Like whichever nation is going to finish bottom will be close. Like all four of these nations have a good chance to qualify, and that's the beauty about this group is that no nation is completely out of it. Even Costa Rica, a nation that many people predicted them to finish bottom of the group, played really well today. And I got to give them massive credit. As for Japan, man, I just don't think they really work well against low block kind of teams. And we even saw this during the Asian qualifiers is that they struggled against like likes of Oman, they struggled the likes of like Lebanon, these kind of teams, and they're just like it's just so much difficult for Japan to score against, and I think for Japan in particular, what they need to do in the next game is against Spain. They need to start their best 11. They cannot bench players. Like I think for me, Japan should have started Mitoma. I think Mitoma should have definitely started. I think Minamino should have started. Takeshi Kubo, I think should have started, and these kind of other players like they have to start these Asano as well. Like Japan cannot underestimate their opponent, especially Spain, as we're gonna get into in a bit later. And I think for Japan, man, this is a huge missed opportunity because now they have a very daunting task where they basically have to probably beat Spain to guarantee themselves through. Because even with a draw, it may not even be enough. So, yeah, Japan, man, a very devastating blow for them. And let's see if they can rebound from here. Let's see if they can. So, big up to Costa Rica, man. Big up to Costa Rica, man. Huge win. All right, now let's talk about the next game, guys. The next game we have here, Morocco, Belgium. Guys, I gotta say this right now. Belgium are just overrated. They are overrated. And I've always stated with Belgium is that they've just not really been convinced with this team. And you've been seeing these in the last couple of years that Belgium just haven't really impressed ever since they lost, ever since the World Cup 2018. And that for me was their peak. That was their peak. And when they lost that World Cup, I just knew that it was done. And since they just haven't been the same. You look at the Euros in particular and seeing how Italy didn't even qualify for that World Cup, like it just looks really bad at what Belgium did. And I just think for Morocco, man, they came up here with a great game plan, and I think they look solid. I think for me, Morocco should have won this game like 3-0. I think 2-0 is a bit flattering to Belgium in a sense because they were so much better than Belgium. They really were. And even though they did score late goals, I think for me they were great. Like Hakim Ziyech I thought was fantastic on the day. Even though he didn't score on the day, I thought he was really good in the team. I thought he was fantastic. Being as a winger, I think he really showed up today. And even when Hakimi came off, it was interesting because I honestly thought if Morocco were to get a win from this game, it would always be through Hakimi, right? And the fact that they even did this without their star player Hakimi is quite incredible. I think Buffalo was also good on the day. Roman Saiz getting that first goal was crucial for them. Nice goal from the free kick there. And then their substitute player Zakaria getting a goal there, and it's a massive, massive win for Morocco. And now they're in a great position. They're in a great position to qualify, because all they need to do is to beat Canada, which, keep in mind, are already eliminated. Then they can qualify through, and they just have to get a draw. Even a draw would be actually, a draw may not be enough, because yeah, like I said, Morocco can beat Canada. They're pretty much guaranteed to go through, and so you got to give massive credit to them and this group. They were fantastic on the day, and it's also really interesting is that they're the only nation in this group that haven't even conceded a goal. Croatia have, Belgium have, obviously, and Canada. So it's a massive, massive win for Morocco. And as for Belgium, man, I just think for me they just lacked it. I think KDB once again didn't perform in the day. And remember how I said that Belgium win against Canada wasn't impressive? I wasn't impressed whatsoever. I think this is what they get, because that kind of way they played, just wasn't going to work. And we saw how Morocco made it difficult for Belgium, and it's a massive, massive win for Morocco. For Belgium, and like I said, man, they really, really need Lukaku. Lukaku is such a crucial player to this team, and he finally started. He finally came off the bench and played, but like it was a little too late, man. It was a little too late. I think he came on. What minute did he come on this game? Let's see. He came on. He came on in like the 81st minute. By then, it was too late. It was too late, and you could see how Roberto Martinez got tactically outclassed. In the team. I think Courtois was also very underwhelming on the day. Once again, Eden Hazard was disappointing as well, and just this Belgium team just don't look great, man. They just don't look great at the moment. And guys, Belgium, they have to beat Croatia. They have to beat Croatia, because even a draw won't be enough, because they're gonna have a worse goal difference, right? So it's gonna be, they have to basically beat Croatia. And given what I've seen with Croatia today, which we'll get into in a bit later, I don't know if they're gonna beat Croatia, guys. I don't know if they can. So as I say, it's a massive, massive win for Morocco. Huge, big up to them. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on, man. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Let's go ahead and move on. The next game we have here is Croatia, Canada. Croatia, Canada. I gotta say, man, Croatia on the day were fantastic, and I think they proved everyone that this is a team you cannot write up upon. And yes, they don't have the same kind of players as they did in 2018. I know there's no Rakitic there. I know there is no Mandzukic. There is no Subasic there. However, they still have some quality players. You still have the likes of Brozovic that's still there, Modric that's still there, Vida that's still there, Lovren that's still there. You still got Perisic, and these players are still playing, man. And you could see how Croatia on the day were fantastic. And yes, Croatia could have easily given up their heads, especially after what Canada scored the opening goal through Alphonso Davies, gaining Canada's very first World Cup goal in their history. And they could have easily given up. And Canada created some chances. But you could tell that as the game went on, Croatia started to dominate that midfield. And Croatia started to dominate the midfield and dominate the defense. I think for me, Atiba Hutchinson was very poor in the day. I didn't think he was great whatsoever. I think Miller was also poor as well. And I think Canada just got overran. And yes, this Croatian team has a lot of old players, but they still have some young players like Vardio is still young. You still have Kovacic that's still there. He's still doing his thing. You still have like the likes of Marami, Sosa that's still there. These are players that are really young and they can give you the energy. And the perfect balance to have a great national team is you want to have some experienced players and some young players. That's a great combination. And I think the other teams, like, especially like Belgium, they don't really have a good mixture. And like for Croatia on the day, they were fantastic. Obviously, the opening goal was scored, I believe, the person that started the comeback for Croatia, I believe it was Kramaric. I think Kramaric scored the opening goal for them. And the Ibina had a goal disallowed, I believe. Yep, and then Leva scored the second goal, and then the third goal was scored by Kramaric, and the fourth goal was scored by Mayer. And I think Croatia were just looking so dumb. I looked at stats, man. 13 shots, 10 on target. You got to give credit to Borjan. He made a lot of good saves in the day. I think he was fantastic on the day, and I think Kramaric was great. Obviously, Brozovic was great as well. Modric was decent as well, and Perisic as well. I thought had a good game, and Croatia just looked so much better than Canada. And Canada just looked really, really out of the pace. I just think Canada were just way too blown, and I just think this was a really, really devastating blow for Canada, because now they're effectively eliminated from the World Cup, and they can no longer qualify to round of 16. However, they can play the spoils to Morocco, and if they can get a result against Morocco, potentially we can see either Croatia, we can see Croatia and Belgium triumph over them. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's a big game. Kramaric really stepped up in this game. You know, I've always criticized the Croatia front line. I never said they were that great when it came to goal scoring, but they proved me wrong today with an amazing, amazing win. Kramaric, man of the match for me, honestly. He was fantastic on the day. And I think for Croatia, it's a deserved win. Croatia deserved to win this game. So huge, huge win, man. Huge win. All right. Now let's talk about the last game. The last game, Spain and Germany. Oh, man. Where do we begin with this game? Spain, man. I like this makeup of the Spain team. I think the Spain team is a very quality team, and I think they got some great players. You know, like some Pedri, Gavi, I thought were good on the day. Busquets as well, I thought was good. And Spain just in general just looked great. But it's always the front three. It's always the attack that lets you down with Spain. It's always the attack. You know, Morata in particular, Ferran Torres was disappointing. Asensio was disappointing. Like, Spain just are not great when it comes to scoring. I just don't know what is up with this team because whenever it comes to scoring, it's just ridiculous. Because you could create all the passes, you could create all the chances, but if you can't finish, you're not going to go far in this tournament. That's just the reality of the tournament. You know, and I think for Spain in particular, they should have won this game. I think they know themselves this was a game there that was there for the taking. But as much as we say that, Germany also could have looked at this game and say we could have won this game too because Musiala missed a sitter, Leroy Sané also missed a sitter, and Germany just looked really good. You know, and I think you could see how Hansi Flick is looking at this team because he made some big changes. You know, he took off Kai Havertz, who had a disaster class against Japan, and he started Fulkrug, who I thought had a good game, obviously scoring that equalizer. Then obviously he also took off. He changed the formation of 4-3-3, put Musiala on the left wing and Muller as a striker, which I thought was really interesting. And then obviously the right wing being Serge Gnabry. But I think for Hansi Flick here, I think he messed up in knowing that he should have started Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané he's Germany's best player. He's Germany's best forward right now, in my opinion. He's such an incredible player. And I think he should have started him this game. And I think for Germany in particular, what they really messed up with was their finishing. You know, their finishing was just terrible on the day. You know, and I just think that for Germany in particular, they need to start using their substitutes more. I think their substitutes actually saved them this game because Fulkrug came on. He looked great, obviously, getting the equalizer. Then obviously, I think Leroy Sané came on, did some damage. And I think for Germany in particular, they're going to look at this game as a mass. They're going to look at this game as more of a 1 point gained rather than 3 points lost. 2 points lost. And I think for Spain, they're going to look at this game and saying, we should have won this game. You know, Morata scored the opening goal. It was a great goal. Obviously, Sula there was a defensive liability. I always say that Sula is just not good. Sula is just not good enough, guys. You know, then obviously Spain, man, what a finish that was from Fulkrug. And I think for Germany in particular, man, what's really interesting now is that with this draw, Germany still have a chance to top this group. But what they need to do is they have to destroy Costa Rica. They have to basically annihilate them, sort of like what Spain did against Costa Rica. And if Germany could like put 6 or 7 past Costa Rica, they could top this group. You know, and they would have to hope that Japan could beat Spain. So it really makes this group really interesting now with the group all over the place. So you know, it's a big win. Big point for Germany. You know, Germany is still alive in the World Cup. They're not eliminated, and it's going to be interesting for Spain. So the final match day is going to be interesting, guys. So I think that's all there is for today games. You know, I think I went a bit too long for today. I want you guys to comment down below. What are you guys' thoughts on these games? And also, if you made it all the way far in this video, comment down below which players impressed you the most in this year's World Cup. So comment all that down in the comment section below. Guys, if you also made it this far, consider subscribing to the channel. Really do appreciate it. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. That's the next target for the channel. And obviously also trying to get the monetization requirements, which I believe we're right now 3.2K. So hope it would get monetized by the end of the year. So make sure you guys like this video if you did enjoy. Comment down below your thoughts in the comment section below. Check out my other posts in the description below. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.